Ja, passend zum Werbejingle unser nächstes Thema: How we drink coffee today, a market analysis pre- and post-Corona. Der Marktforscher Mariano Peluso, Mitbegründer und Research Manager der Firma und des Fachmagazins Coffee BI, BI steht für Business und Intelligence, beleuchtet die Markt- und Konsumveränderungen in Europa, bedingt durch die Pandemie. Moderiert wird das Ganze von Steffen Schwarz, CEO Coffee Consulate, an den ich jetzt abgebe. Herr Schwarz, Sie sind dran.
Our next speaker is Mr. Mariano Peluso from Coffee BI. He's co-founder and partner at Coffee BI since 2016. He's going to give us a short insight on the market and the market analysis pre- and post-Corona. And the subject and title is How Do We Drink Coffee Today? He works with his independent research institute and is specialized in coffee and coffee data. Since 2010, the Institute is collecting worldwide coffee data on consumption and different drinking habits of the world markets. They provide data and information with focus on consumption, and they hope to be able to supply the coffee industry with all strategical decision backgrounds. We are very pleased to have Mr. Mariano Peluso here with us today, presenting us How Do We Drink Coffee Today?
Thank you for the introduction. So, how we drink coffee today? So, coffee during pandemic. Pandemic is having a global impact on the coffee industry with the short, medium, and long-term effect, and involving the entire supply chain from production to consumption. It's also a further problem for the coffee industry because it was suffered some problem with the low price and low production. If from one side there was all the out-of-home industry decreased and collapsed. On the other side, there was also an increase of coffee consumption at home. So today we will talk about the impact of the coffee, the impact of the pandemic on the world coffee industry, coffee supply chain, the size of the coffee market, and then we will give some idea for the future of coffee. Let's start with the pandemic of coffee, the impact of pandemic on the coffee supply chain. So, let's start with an introduction. About 80% of the coffee production is done by 25 million of small farmers, and 125 million of people are linked to the coffee industry. So before the pandemic, there was already some problem by low mechanization. Mostly of the coffee was hand-picked by people that employed seasonally. There was a low price, the effect of climate change, and so the pandemic added many other things, many other problems to the small farmers. Let's see. First of all, there was a shortage of manpower. Because people that have to move to an area to others had some problem for the restriction of pandemic. On the other side, there was a postponement of orders. This create also problem for the shipping company that to reduce the fixed costs reduced also the number of cargo and the space. So for small farmers, it was very difficult to deliver their product, and this if continue for a long time could cause the entire crisis of the destruction of local little economies. About the consumption, we have seen the closure of bar, restaurants, and other facilities. There was a problem for this. The risk is the lack of customer, because also if they adapted to the new rules, there are also some problem with the lack of customer. And the risk is also the closure of small activities and the unemployment, the risk of unemployment. On the other side, the contrary, there is also an increase in the increase of the consumption at home, and also the request of quality coffee, of coffee machine, so there are two different sides. The out of home decreased and the home market increased. So it's so we have seen the impact of the coffee on the whole supply chain. In the long-term effect, also there can be also a reduction of disposable income of people that could go less to restaurants, bar, and other food facilities. Let's go to the second size of the coffee market. The size of the European coffee market is the main area in terms of coffee consumption away from home. So, before the pandemic, there was an increasing in consumption of about 2%, and is followed by other two areas, North America and Asia, that grow a lot, grow much more than Europe. With the pandemic, there was a decrease of the total consumption of about 15%, mostly due to the out-of-home coffee market that decreased by 56%, while the home consumption increased by 5%. In 2001, we will wait some recovery, but to come back to the number of pre-crisis, we will to wait till the end of 2022. If we enter in the data about the out-of-home, we can discover that the major area that suffered to the pandemic, it was the non-HoReCa, that include offices, because for the largely policy of remote working adopted by the company. So the area of out-of-home decreased by 65%, and the area, the HoReCa, 48%. Entering in detail of some country, we can say that the Nordic country decreased less than the average because they suffered less restrictive policies about government. Country of Eastern Europe instead decreased much. Looking at the top European countries in terms of coffee consumption away from home, they decreased of about 40 and 50% all. Many factors influenced this data. First of all, the duration and the intensity of the lockdown, because some countries started before, other later. While the intensity depends on if the lockdown was total or involved some region before and other later. Another factor that influenced is also the use of takeaway coffee. There are some countries that that already were used to drink coffee takeaway. I'm thinking about Germany. I've been thinking about UK, but also France. For example, for Italy, it was not usually to take the takeaway coffee. And also for the policies of remote working, largely adopted with many countries. So all these factors, and also influenced this result, also the increase of prices, because in the out of home, some coffee prices increase and mitigate some losses. Later we can talk about some idea about the future of coffee. What is doing pandemic? Pandemic is changing time and place of the coffee consumption, and it's necessary to adapt to these new rules. People with pandemic will not drink less coffee, but will drink coffee in time and place, in different time and place. Many people will continue to stay at home. Many people will prefer to stay far from the city center. And also they prefer to have quality coffee, because they drink, there is no more time for a bad quality. Another aspect of the future will be the service. It's necessary to rethink how the environment and tool and guarantee experience and safety. So the place have to avoid the crowding and guarantee the rules of security and safety, but don't have to forget the coffee experience. On the other side, they have to innovate the offer for people that are more for consumers that are more demanding. I'm thinking about some local coffee shop or local bar that in this pandemic saw an increase of customers, but that probably they are working at home in this area, but this facility have to increase their offer to guarantee a good quality of their coffee. There is an opportunity, but also a risk. And at the end, the company, they have to become increasingly digital. So the takeaway and the delivery should be the norm. If many companies cannot adapt to this, they could become only company that do delivery and packaging and delivery. Remote. The system of doing business remotely is become interesting. We have seen in this month a lot of tools for meeting among colleagues, but also from customer, also the tool for webinar, and that are increasing in their use. After the pandemic, they will not disappear, but they will continue to be used. And we will increase also the quality of this service, and there could be some innovation also for a new tool based on blockchain. So, innovation. So the pandemic is changing the coffee business and give more opportunity and innovation for company. In last month, we have seen some manufacturers that offered a new tool, new machine with no touch. And this is only one of the opportunity for machine manufacturers, also because to avoid crowding place, they could offer new ad hoc solution with small small service. And also for micro market could be an opportunity, because for people that work far away from the center or in place where restaurant and bar are not much, they can offer food and drink for these people. So, il pandemic is changing the coffee business. The change is not in a radical way, but progressive. And when the pandemic will finish, we will continue to use this thing. We will continue to adopt remote service, to take away coffee, and also to do meeting online. Will not change our way to do meeting by person, but the system will continue to exist. So the future of coffee. We don't know, there are no secret solution or formulas to avoid pandemic or to avoid crisis, but it's necessary. Every crisis is an opportunity for the company that know to innovate. The innovation could be not only in terms of product, but also in service and business model. Which is the way to do innovation? Is only observing and listening the market. Only observing the market, the customer, the people that go to the coffee shop, the company, some decision can be taken. So, and this is the only tool to overcome crisis, reduce loss, and start over. Thank you.
So, thank you very much, Mr. Peluso, for this presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, we will be happy to get some of the questions from the audience. So we will see what will come in as questions. Thank you again for this overview. I think this is very valid and very interesting data. We are all learning with the pandemics, and as you also explained, there is a lot of positive learnings that we also take from that event, and we all know the negative effects of Corona, but we also see, like in technology, it is also an impulse for innovation that drives forward the markets and the consumer demands. Is there anything that comes to your mind right now that you would like to share directly from your point of view today with our participants here in Stuttgart and Mannheim?
Yes, no, I know that every crisis, it's impossible to prevent crisis, but every crisis gives opportunity, some bad things, and also some innovation. Innovation, not only in product is important, but also in business model and services. This will be, according to me, the future of coffee. Important that coffee shop will improve the quality, because there is people that work at home or prefer to work far away from the center. It's necessary if they will go to a coffee shop, to a restaurant, they would prefer a good quality of coffee. So it will be very important for to offer or to improve the offer of the coffee shop.
Okay. So do you think now everything has changed due to the pandemic worldwide? Nothing stood the same, nothing is the same, and we will have a lot of new services, a lot of new ways of eating and drinking. Our work life has changed, as you also correctly already said. So coffee will be more than just a brown, let's say, a brown liquid that will keep you awake and get you through your daily routine. It will much more be something that you will really enjoy, something that you will appreciate as the flavor. And yeah, we are getting the first questions in here. It is a question like, what would be for you as a market specialist the most surprising trend that you've seen coming out of that pandemic? Because a lot of things might be predictable.
Yes, I think because when we talk about crisis, we talk about the losses of Horeca or restaurants, but was very strange to see office market that decreased much more Horeca. If we consider that many of offices are closed, or many of people that consume the coffee in offices stay at home, it was strange. This number that in reality the office market gonna decrease much more than the Horeca, and this is also the impulse to the coffee roaster to understand a new solution for people that work at home and for people that will come back to office less than before and will change their habits. So it's a challenge for the coffee roaster.
Okay, so thank you for that. Next question we have is, do your data show that the coffee quality was increased during the pandemic?
Yes. There was some evidence that the people that prefer to drink coffee, they prefer not choose a common coffee, but to choose and to buy some coffee that reproduce the quality of the bar at home. So they prefer to choose the best machine that produce the quality of the bar and also the quality of the coffee, choosing the particular blends that before never tried. So there are many people, and this evidence also in some result of some other research company that map the consumption in a large supermarket or in a large place where the coffee machine and the coffee increased in their sales.
Okay, thank you. We have another question. Did the digitization of local coffee shops pay off for them? Would you say that it did help them to overcome losses or to at least reduce losses during the pandemic?
Yes, it's digitalization means also not only the takeaway. It depends to find a new solution. For example, a reservation to enter in contact with the customers in digital way, to invite them to drink the special quality, for example, or to avoid crowded place, and to give the opportunity for many people to enter in contact with the experience of the coffee bar. So it's not only the digital in the way just take away, but in many other ways.
Okay, thank you so much. Another question. It's great to see there's a lot of questions coming in. So we see we are probably hitting a good nerve here. A question is, do private households buy better coffee quality? I mean, you already said that. The question now is a little bit also specified. Is it only better quality, or is there also something that you can see that maybe there is tendencies that it goes into more organic, and how does that also affect the coffee prices? So maybe a question, but
maybe yes, it's difficult. It's both. It's both. The quality means also organic, means also the price. The effect of increasing price, it was just it was some economical effect of a coffee shop that sell less coffee or less food and increased price, but so it's not linked for the increase of the quality. But people that go to coffee shop, go to restaurants, they want the best quality, because there is no way to go there to risk to take. If I want to go to restaurants or a coffee shop, I want also drink a good coffee. So it's both increase of price, but it's also necessary for coffee shop increase the quality, increase organic coffee, because the second way, if I go one time, the second way I don't go, and I don't want to pay a high price for a coffee if the quality is not good.
Mm-hmm. But that also occurs to be the same for household. So also within the household, the qualities are increasing, correct?
The household, yes, the household, because people that try to buy the coffee in the internet, they try to choose different quality, the best quality for their coffee. So there is an increase in the quality of coffee that people buy for home.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I think most of the questions so far we've answered. There's still a little bit time, so I would like to motivate everyone to come forward with questions. It's usually much more expensive. I mean, you are selling reports, you're selling data, but here's the chance to ask one or two more free questions. So take the chance, as they have been singing at ABBA. So maybe there's one more question or another question that we can still handle before we will leave that channel. Okay. Yeah. For you, Mr. Peluso, as long as we're waiting for maybe the last question to come in, do you think that now, after this learning curve that the entire industry and also states and governments did, are we better prepared for maybe another future pandemic?
They are not. I hope that it will be not a future pandemic, but but for sure this is a lesson, a good lesson, because they for sure in innovation, in remote, all the things that I try to show in the presentation absolutely are advanced for 5 or 10 years, because without pandemic we had to wait at least this. And this is a good lesson for the future. In case of some crisis that cannot be pandemic, but can be every kind of crisis, company, I think they can think and will be more motivated to innovate for the future.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So now it's a lot of questions coming in, so we'll probably be running short in time, but let's try how many we can at least answer. What is the main trend you see in personal consumption, and do you see an increase also in the consumption per person, per capita?
No, I don't think this. because there was also some evidence before the crisis that when there is an increase in the quality of coffee, maybe people drink less but better coffee. So I don't think that will be the trend is going in the last years is going up in. But I don't think, at least for the main consumption countries, that because we have already a high level of consumption.
Excellent. So that means the tendency is we will have an increased quality but not quantity. So the trend
not
goes
quantity.
Quality,
Yes, there were also some evidence before the crisis in some countries that when increased the quality, decreased the quantity of coffee.
Excellent. So I think we are done. I just see it's 2 o'clock, so we don't want to overspend the hospitality in this channel and not keeping other questions and presentations off from colleagues that will now probably join that stage. Mr. Peluso, thank you so much for joining us here today and for answering so many questions. In case there are other questions, I also see we couldn't answer all questions. We nearly did it, but even if there are some unasked questions, please send them forward to us, send them to Coffee Consulate, or also contact Mr. Peluso directly from Coffee BI. They have a homepage. You can do that. And so thank you again for joining us here. Thank you for answering all of these questions. And yeah, thank you everyone for watching and joining us here. Thank you, Mr. Peluso.